In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to configure static routing. Now, static routing is somewhat different from dynamic routing protocols like OSPF. When you assign OSPF or configure it on routers, what happens is the routing protocol sends routing updates automatically between neighbors. That's based on the configuration of the routing protocol. You select what routes you want sent to the neighbors, and the routing tables are updated on the neighbors automatically at specific time intervals. In some cases, it's event triggered, based on whether a link goes down, for example. So in this example, I've got, I'm going to configure static routing. I've got a host on an interface here. It's on 172.16.1 subnet. Then I've got some 3 routers here that are interconnected, and they're on, they're using 192.168.1 subnet between router 1 and router 2. And on this third hop, I've got a server, and it's in 172.16.2 subnet. So the server IP address is 172.16.2.1. And so whenever you have routes that are directly connected, you don't have to assign static routes. The router learns of them automatically because they're directly connected, and they're then automatically put in the routing table. When you have something that's at least one hop away, like this server 1 is, because this is the first hop. This is actually the directly connected router. Router 2 is 1 hop away, and it's got an interface that's in the 192.168.1 subnet is 172.116.2. So router 2 knows of this subnet 172.16.2 because it's directly connected. So a static route, what it does is, if I want to ping from or connect to applications on server 1 from host 1, I have to tell router 1 how to get to 172.16.2. And as well, I have to tell router 2 how to get to 172.16.1. Because anytime you configure a static route, you have to consider the reverse direction as well and tell router 2, when the packets arrive from server 1, how to get back to host 1. So I have to configure 2 static routes, one on router 1 and one on router 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with router 1. I'm going to sign on here. And there's configure terminal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to configure a static route, and it is a global command. It's not on an interface. It's globally, and it'll go into the routing table. So I'm going to type IP route in 172.16.2.0 subnet. I'll give it the correct subnet mask that subnet uses. It's just a /24. So that's 255.255.255.0. So what I'm saying is, to get to 172.16.2.0, I need to take the next hop of 192.168.1.2. And that's all there is to it. So I'm saying on router 1, I'm saying to get to 172.16.2.0, take this next hop of 1.2, and that's that interface FA10 on router 2. So I'll go to router 2, and I have to do something similar. Now I have to tell how to get back to host 1. So what I'll do is I'll type an IP route statement, and I'll say to get to 172.16.1.0, and that's the subnet for host 1. Take the next hop of 192.168.1.1. So that's configured okay. So what I do on router 2, I have the static route, and it says to get to 172.16.1.0 subnet, take this FA10 interface on router 1, so forward it to that router interface. And router 1 knows of this subnet. That's what static routing does. It says take it to forward packets to the next hop neighbor that knows of a route, or knows of a route that knows of a route. So I'll go back to router 1, and I'll go up here. Now I want to know if it's in the routing table, so we'll go show IP route. So in this example, I've got, these are connected routes. One is connected, 192.168.1.0 is connected, and so is 2. The 2 route is connected because that's the 00 that connects to router 3. And so going back here to router 1, I've got 3 connections there, and I've got a static route I just added to get to 2.0 via 1.2. And the 1 is just the administrative distance. And the lower you get, the more preferred the route is. So if you had an OSPF route, it would take the static route instead. So there it is there. So I'll go to router 2 and do the same thing. Make sure the route I just configured is in the routing table, and shows the connected route of 2.0 and 1.0 and 16. So in this static route, there it is, that's the one I want, the 1.0, and I get to that route via 1.1, 192.168.1.1, and that's that interface there in router 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to ping the server now and make sure the static route works. So when you send a ping, the ARP table, it has to do ARP first, so it just takes a little while to update the ARP table and find out what the MAC address is of the server. And there it is there, so it updates, okay. And I'll try it again. And there it is, I get all 4 replies. So there is layer 3 connectivity from host 1 to server 1 now. And that concludes IP4 static routing.